How to tell if someone was raised right. Secret signs of good upbringing.
They consider other people around them or who they are with when making a decision.
This comes into play driving. My mom told me, drive so you have the littlest impact on other people, and you're always in the right. For whatever reason, those words stuck, where a lot did not.
Something as minor as saying thank you for the meal makes a huge difference to me, as I was always raised to be polite and say thank you when someone did something for me, like cooked food, cleared the plates, let me stay over, held a door, gave me a ride. It doesn't take much.
I walked into a fire extinguisher once and said, "Oh, sorry," because it was my first instinct.
Canadian, eh?
Michigander, actually. So pretty much the same thing.
Are you sure it was an O, or more of an ope?
It actually was an ope. They take responsibility and try to learn from their mistakes instead of trying to put the blame on others.
I feel like nobody has been raised right if this is the case. So many people just want to shove one another under the bus.
This reminded me of when I went to go visit my cousin in California, and he was just taking me around LA, showing me the city and whatnot, all the cool touristy things. Then we turn onto a road, and he sees a car parked on the shoulder with its 4 ways on and 2 women standing outside of it. He immediately pulls over in front of them, gets out, and asks them if they need any help at all, or if they need to use his phone to call someone. They politely said no, and he got back in and we left. Even as a Canadian, I was taken aback by his random act of kindness. Love my cousin.
I've known people raised by horribly abusive parents who pulled themselves together as adults to become kind, well-mannered, and stable. I've known people who were raised well by informed, well-intentioned parents who became backbiting weasels. You can never assume how someone was raised based on their current actions, personality.
Wow, you seem so mature and polite for your age. Thanks, it's the trauma.
Holy fuck, nothing pisses me off more. Like WTF, man. You can take 2 seconds out of your day to make someone else's life a lot easier, but no, you feel the need to be a dick and fuck that worker over.
Nothing raises a red flag to me like someone who leaves a mess and justifies it with something like, it's the worker's job to clean it.
In particular, public bathrooms. Nearly impossible to walk into a stall and not find a mess on the toilet seat. And when you say movie theaters, I noticed a lot of people in Manchester didn't clean up after themselves after the film was over. I was literally the only person bringing their rubbish out to a bin.
Enjoyed the video? Hit that subscribe button and join our amazing community. Your support means the world to us and keeps the content coming. Thanks for being awesome. Cleaning up after themselves in public places like movie theaters.
I worked in a movie theater for years, and I would regularly have customers walk by me in the hallway and sprinkle some popcorn out of their bag, bucket onto the ground to give me something to do. This is not a joke. This is real. People legitimately did that. It still blows my mind.
I would regularly have customers walk by me in the hallway and sprinkle some popcorn out of their bag bucket onto the ground to give me something to do. Some people feel the need to feel superior to others. I can usually spot that type instantly. They're pretty similar to the people who blame you for things that you don't have control over. Once when I was working retail and selling shoes, some guy came in and wanted to buy shoes that were made in America. I told him the only shoes I knew were made in America were New Balance and not all of them. But I said I was happy to help him look. He told me the New Balance were ugly and wanted Nikes that were made in America. I told him that I didn't think any were made the US. He told me to check, and I spent the next 40 minutes checking all the shoes in his size for their provenance. At some point, he just bought some made in Bolivia shoe and left. He never thanked me for my help. When they apologize or admit they screwed up, even if it's for something minor, you'd be amazed at how few people do this and really mean it. Someone who openly admits that they don't know something. Someone who has an openness to communicate with just about anyone, regardless of race, year, social status, occupation, etc. People who are friendly and courteous to those in the service industry, waiters, janitors, retail persons, etc. Unfortunately, many people feel entitled in these types of situations and treat those who are below them like the scum on their shoes.
I'm amazed the amount of people who don't clear their tray in fast food places.
They're probably thinking, it's someone's job to clean up. They'll do it for me. While this is true, it's pretty painless for you to clean up after yourself, and you're doing them a favor and making their job easier.
Sometimes it's not 100% clear if the customers or waitstaff clears dishes. It leaves me in a panic at some restaurants.
There's a visible trash can, they probably want me to clear it myself. Definitely if they give me a tray. People that wave at you when you give them space to merge, turn in front of you.
This is a thing people mostly learn by watching their parents do. Nobody ever tells you to do this. You just do. And it's so adorable watching a parent wave and the kid waving after them.
I held the door for a group of adults and a 5-year-old. Not one of the adults said a word to me. The 5-year-old looked up at me and smiled and said, "Thank you."
I once held the door open for a family that looked like they were exhausted coming from a Diwali celebration. They were beat. But the dad gave the little son a nudge and he said formally, "Thank you very much, ma'am."
They don't feel entitled to something any more than another person is.
Hey, you stole my answer!
You weren't early enough.
It's my answer, though.
They respect boundaries for themselves and with others. They are not afraid to say no and respect when others do the same. Unfortunately, a lack of boundaries is an issue for a lot of people. Children who grow up in a healthy environment typically have secure attachment with others. Handling boundaries well in adulthood is a good indication that they were raised right.
I'm great at respecting other people's boundaries, but enforcing my own is the most challenging thing for me.
It's hard because since you respect others' boundaries, subconsciously you expect others to do the same. When they don't, it's hard to know how to handle it. As uncomfortable as it sounds, simply say no, or no, I won't do that, or no, I can't do that this time. One of the keys is to just say that and then stop. Don't give an explanation or excuse. Nothing. If needed, repeat the no and follow it up with, "No, gotta go, catch you later."
I knew I'd like my in-laws when my now husband did the dishes without prompting. I also knew they raised him right when he immediately helped my dog when she was dealing with back problems. He swaddled her up, carried her to the car, while my mom called the vet and cuddled me and her the whole way to the vet. The dog is completely healthy now and very happy. But seeing how he just helped and made sure we were okay, told me he came from a good family. I love my in-laws. They are generous, funny, and have good morals. Also, they live 2 hours away.
Close enough to see them often, but far enough to where they aren't smothering you.
Exactly. They truly are lovely people, but no one wants to live with their in-laws. They don't leave trash behind at a concert, sporting event, /play, etc. for someone else to clean up.
Want to feel disgusted? I went to a music festival and they had a Clean Vibes program. Attendees could grab huge trash bags and fill them with discarded recycling. Together, my husband and I filled 22 bags of just beer cans and 4 Ziploc bags of cigarette butts. That wasn't even the tip of the iceberg. We just couldn't keep going. We want a hammock, though.
They'll hold the door open for other people even if they don't know them.
Holds the door for her. Her, who the fuck are you and how did you get into my house?
First time my BF picked me up from my house, he rang the doorbell, came in, and introduced himself to my family, immediate and visiting aunt and uncle. After dating guys for years who'd just text, "I'm outside," it was refreshing, and I immediately knew he'd been raised right. Hasn't proved me wrong yet either.
He was subtly checking for crazy genes running in your family?
How has her mother aged?
My ex had a not-so-good relationship with her mother. Psychological abuse and whatnot as a child. After she dumped me in a pretty painful way, I really wanted to tell her, "You resemble your mother more than you know." But I'm better than that. It still hurts, though.
Manners. Pleases, thank yous, courtesies like that. Showing respect.
Fun story. I was in Boston the other week and went to a hole-in-the-wall pizza joint. I was myself, please, thank you. Yes, no, ma'am. The lady taking my order, in the most hard Boston accent you can imagine, says to me, "You're not from around here, are ya?" I tell her no and ask why she's asking me. She says, "You're just so fucking polite, it's refreshing."
This happened to me too in NYC. I was at the M&M store on the upper level. I was heading to go down the escalator. Another person and his child met me at the top. I told him go ahead and he took advantage of it, and I followed behind him. He turns around. "You must not be from here?" "Nope, I'm from Minnesota." I tell that story often and joke if it happened around here, we'd still be at the top of the escalator arguing about who should just go down the damn thing first.
Kids that stay close to their parents in public places without causing a ruckus or looking like they've just been beaten, or about to.
There are 5 kids in my family, and people were always commenting about how well-behaved we were. We never understood why people thought it was a big deal, but now I know it's 100% because Mom followed up on her threats. We knew that if one of us started shit, Mom was going to take us all home, immediately. No questions, no arguments. I think each one of us tested that resolve, once.
I fixed this with my eldest when she was about 3. Wandered off when told not to. I move and get 20 behind her without being spotted. I follow her through the store as her fear and panic builds that she can't find Dad. Pick her up 30 seconds before she goes into full meltdown. Wipe her tears and ask her to stay close when I ask. 'Cause I don't want to lose her. Never did it again. She's a teenager now and still makes sure I know where she's going. I call that a win.
Holding doors open for other people, ESP if they're carrying something, saying please and thank you when appropriate.
Not gonna lie, but I'm guilty of the second one. Stranger, holds door open for me. Me. You're welcome. My mind. Ugh, not again.
I had a random guy hold the door open for me yesterday. He seemed to be having a hard day, so I told him, I hope the rest of your day gets better. He looked at me and said, you know, you're the only person who's been kind to me today. Thanks.
People who take the time to chat with a cashier or other worker.
My grandma did this every time we went shopping. She would always chat with the cashier. She said it made her day to have a friendly interaction with someone. She also used to keep little candies in her purse to give to the cashiers. It was so sweet.
I once had a lady ask me about my nail polish, and we ended up talking for 15 minutes about manicures and pedicures. She ended up paying for her groceries, and then mine as well. She told me she wanted to do something kind, and she really enjoyed our chat.
People who get up and stand to let an older person sit on a crowded bus.
See, I do that, but I'll always remember the time it backfired. An oldish lady, late 60, early 70, I'm bad at judging this, enters the bus. I get up, partly to leave her my seat, close to the door, partly because I was getting off like 1-2 stops later anyway. Lo and behold, she snaps, "Sit down, I'm not that old." I just told her, "Ma'am, I'm getting off the bus," and walked to the door at the back, but WTF. 5 years later, I am still utterly confused about that interaction.
I did this in Japan recently, and the older gentleman I'd stood up for said the same thing, though not in a snappy way. So I told him I agreed. In fact, I was just jumping up to admire his youthful appearance, and we both laughed it off. He was definitely about 80. Try that next time.
Damn, that's some quick thinking right there.
Enjoyed the video? Hit that subscribe button and join our amazing community. Your support means the world to us and keeps the content coming. Thanks for being awesome.